At an American military base in Qatar, they noticed an unfamiliar aircraft approaching them. They kept warning it, but there was no response, and communication with the base was completely cut off. The soldiers gathered around the plane to stop it, but it suddenly transformed into a giant robot and began destroying the entire place. Then it hacked into the base's server systems, and the place became invisible on the map due to the massive destruction. In a school in America, the student Sam was standing to present some old things belonging to his grandfather. He told the audience that his grandfather was very famous and was the first to discover the North Pole. He offered his glasses and some items for sale because he needed the money to buy a car for himself, but the students mocked him and didn't care about what he was offering. After the show, Sam got down to ride in the car with his father, who surprised him by saying they would buy him a car. They went to a junkyard, and Sam liked a yellow car that was there, but the owner told him he didn't know how that car got there. It was strange to him. He agreed to sell it to them for $5,000, but Sam's father said they only had $4,000. Suddenly, the windows of the surrounding cars shattered, so the seller decided to sell the car to them quickly. In Washington, an important meeting was held to investigate what happened at the military base in Qatar, where highly classified data was breached. The only thing they managed to access was a strange audio signal, and the attendees were asked to work on decrypting it. As for Sam, he was extremely happy to finally own a car. He listed his grandfather's things for sale online again, hoping someone would buy them so he could get the money and go out with the girls. As for the military base, only one military unit survived, and they searched for a place where they could contact the army. They walked with a child to guide them to the nearest place where they could make a call. Meanwhile, Sam was with his friend in the park enjoying themselves, but a young man was bullying them. The girl whom Sam had a crush on, named Michaela, asked him to stop what he was doing. Sam argued with her a little, and then decided to make up with her. He offered to give her a ride in his car, and she agreed, but the car broke down halfway and he couldn't start it. Michaela smiled and continued on her way, while Sam repeatedly tried to start the car until he finally managed to catch up with her. On the presidential plane, a recording device transformed into a robot, began moving freely inside the aircraft, and managed to breach the plane's systems and steal information from it. The officials at the military base noticed that someone was trying to hack the plane, so they cut the power to the devices on the plane before the robot could complete the file transfer, and then they began trying to find the culprit. The robot managed to escape from the plane, boarded a police car, and used its computer to search for information about Sam's grandfather until it found the glasses that Sam had posted online and decided to find him quickly. The next day, Sam woke up to find his car had been moved from in front of the house. He ran after it on his bike and called the police to tell them that his car had been stolen. He kept following her until he saw her transform into a robot, which emitted a strange light signal in the sky. Sam quickly took out his phone to capture pictures of what was happening in case anything bad happened to him. Once upon a time, there was an energy cube that provided life to the entire universe. On a certain planet, robots lived in peace until a war broke out among them, depleting the planet's resources entirely. And then the cube was placed in space, and the robots began searching for it everywhere for a long time to be able to rebuild their world. They later discovered that the cube was on Earth, specifically at the American military base in Qatar. There, the soldiers noticed a strange aircraft approaching them, and they warned it, but it didn't respond. Communication with the base was completely cut off, and the soldiers began to gather around the plane in an attempt to stop it. Suddenly, the plane transformed into a giant robot and began destroying the base, penetrating the servers, causing the entire place to disappear from the map due to the destruction. While Maggie, the data analyst, was trying to decode with the help of her friend Jalen. At the same time, Sam was trying to understand what was happening with the car that seemed to be moving on its own. Later, the car transformed into a robot, shocking Sam. At that moment, several meteor-shaped robots landed near him. Their leader, named Optimus Prime, had told Sam that these robots came from a distant planet and that they were searching for the energy cube before the evil robot Megatron, who betrayed them and destroyed their planet, could reach it. It turned out that Sam's grandfather had accidentally found Megatron frozen a long time ago, and the coordinates of the Allspark were inscribed on his grandfather's glasses. During the investigations, tensions escalated as they discovered that the attack was not from an enemy state, but from robots. Prime and his team were able to rescue Sam and Michaela, the girl he loved, in a fierce battle. Finally, when the battle between Prime and Megatron intensified, Sam decided to place the Allspark into Megatron's chest, leading to his destruction and saving the Earth. After the battle, Prime thanked Sam and told him that the robots would stay on Earth to protect it after the cube, which was their only way to return to their planet, was destroyed. The story ended with Sam marrying Michaela, and they lived a beautiful life together, while the robots settled among them, living in secrecy, ready to defend Earth when needed. The second part of the story begins in China, where the U.S. Department of Defense prepares the Nest team, consisting of officers and their leader, Prime, to confront a new robot appearing in the area. Prime and his team manage to destroy it at the right moment. On the other hand, Sam is preparing to move to university, which leaves his mother sad, while Michaela tells him that she will stay with her father, who was recently released from prison. During the transition, Sam notices that a small piece of the energy cube is stuck to his clothes, and when he touches it, an electric shock occurs, causing the appliances in the kitchen to transform into small robots that attack him. Bumblebee appears to save Sam and destroys the robots, but he causes damage to the garden, leading to Sam's mother's displeasure. She asks him to take Bumblebee with him to university to avoid causing more problems at home. Meanwhile, Michaela sends a signal to space, where there are other robots, indicating that a piece of the energy cube is still on Earth. The signal reaches the robot forces in space, raising concerns for the U.S. Department of Defense. A prosecutor named Jalawe arrives at the military base to discuss with Prime and his team the damage caused by the robots in China, pointing out that their presence on Earth could endanger humans. Prime admits that he would leave Earth if the government decides so, but he wonders about the consequences if it turns out that humans were wrong in this decision. Later, Sam arrives at his university and meets his roommate, Leo. Meanwhile, another robot appears on Earth and tries to infiltrate a secret facility containing the rest of the energy cube fragment. The robot successfully infiltrates the facility before the alarm is triggered, leading to military intervention. At the university, Sam notices numbers and equations appearing incomprehensibly before his eyes, leading him to suspect that something strange is happening to him. A girl approached him during a university party, but he left her when he learned that Bumblebee was outside the building, prompting him to leave quickly. Bumblebee tells him that a part of the cube has been stolen, and Prime asks him for help in restoring trust between humans and robots. But Sam refuses and expresses his desire to live a normal life away from robots and dangers. The events unfold when the robots start jumping off a ship into the sea, where they take Megatron's body and bring him back to life. Megatron and his followers head into space to meet the Fallen, who has become the leader after Megatron's death. The Fallen tells Megatron that Sam Witwicky has absorbed the energy from the cube and that the full knowledge is now in his mind. The Fallen promises to return to Earth to destroy the humans and the Primes. At the university, Sam notices that he can read books at an incredible speed and discusses with his professor the mistakes in Einstein's book, which raises the professor's suspicions. Sam tells Michaela what happened and asks her to be cautious of the stone. Later, they discover a robot trying to steal the stone, and Michaela traps it in a box. Then, Sam, Leo, and Michaela join forces to confront the threats. Later, a giant robot appears trying to kill Sam to extract the codes from his mind. Prime manages to intervene and save Sam, but during the battle, Prime is killed. The robots launch a widespread attack on Earth and announce their demand for Sam's surrender, prompting humans to prepare for a state of maximum emergency. Sam is determined to resolve the matter and searches for information in his mind that leads him to someone who might help him. Sam reaches a former client in Sector 7, and the client takes them to a place where an ancient robot appears, taking them to Egypt, where they learn that the Matrix, a massive energy source, is located in the Great Pyramid. The big battle begins between the landing robots and Sam's team, as military planes arrive to support Sam and his friends. Prime suffers severe damage, and they try to save him by supplying him with electricity, but to no avail. Sam sees a vision of the ancestors of the robots who encourage him to bring Prime back to life. Sam finds the Matrix in his hands and places it into Prime's body, bringing the latter back to life. Prime faces the Descending in a decisive battle, relying on the power transferred to him by Sam to finally defeat him. Prime expresses his gratitude to Sam for saving him and assures him that they will stay together to face any new threat. Prime decides to send a daily message into space in search of survivors of his kind to live with them on Earth, which has now become his home.